I wanted to make a video today about Carnation in Perfume specifically, and I'm going to be talking about a few Carnation perfumes that I have, a couple that I have had, and also quite a few that I have not tried but would like to. So I want to mention them in this video just to get my subscriber input in the comments about some of them, because I feel like I'm on a bit of a quest with Carnation perfumes. And before I start, I want to just give a shout out to what is probably my favorite book about perfume, and that is Neil Chapman's book, Perfume. The reason I really like this book is the way it's set out. So in the contents pages, all the perfumes that he talks about here are grouped into different classifications, from citruses to florals to leather to amber perfumes to animalic perfumes. And under the floral section, he's got a whole bit about Carnation and recommends quite a few perfumes. So if you haven't had a look at this book or haven't got a copy, I highly recommend it, because it's given me quite a few suggestions that I now want to try. So what will I do first? I'm going to talk about Carnation in Perfume, and whenever I see it listed as a note in perfumes, I automatically pair it with, picture this lovely red floral note, but always spicy. So I think it's the spice that definitely sets it apart from something like a rose note. The way I think about how Carnation works in particular perfumes is that it is responsible for giving a lot of the body, particularly in the mid section of its development. It gives a lot of the body to a perfume. A couple of examples are something like Guerlain's Derby. Okay, so this is essentially a leather chypre style perfumes, but the two main notes, the main note along with the leather is the Carnation in here. It fills out the whole perfume. It gives a little bit of warmth to what I would classify as a colder style leather. And the spice from the Carnation really helps the transition into the mossier dry down. You will find that most perfumes you look up that have a Carnation note will also be paired with a clove. And that we are talking about note pyramids. A lot of clovey perfumes might smell a bit like Carnation, and there's certainly always a clovey element to a Carnation accord or a particular note. And that's because they both the chemical eugenol is found in both of those ingredients. So they will be a common pairing, or together. You'll see them together in a note pyramid. So what you have to remember is most Carnation notes and accords are going to have that spicier, warm element. So you think warm florals, and it's hard to leave out Carnation note when you're thinking about a perfume. Carnation, to me in particular, feels these days as if it's kind of something that's a little bit out of fashion in modern perfumery. I don't see a lot of new perfumes being released that feature it as a note, that push it to the forefront. However, having said that, I'm going to be talking about a couple of perfumes, one that was only released in the last year, one in recent years, and just in keeping in theme with the way it works in something like Guerlain's Derby, I also find that something like Gilded from Bougie Bougie, apart from being an incense perfume, the way Derby is a leather perfume, I find that it's the carnation note in that particular perfume that gives it all, that really helps give it all its warmth and body in the perfume as well. So what I might do is I'm going to sample 3 Carnation perfumes that I have. I've got a couple of samples, 1 bottle, and just talk about the main differences between them. And then I'm going to talk about a few, several Carnation perfumes, well-known, in some cases well-known Carnation perfumes that I would eventually like to try. Some might be a bit difficult to find, but we'll go with that. So why don't we start with the perfumes I'm going to compare and sample. Prada Infusion Douillet, the Carnation perfume from that Prada line. I have a sample of Hiram Green's Filtre, and I also have a sample of Angelos Creations Luyet. Okay, so they are all Carnation dominant, and I'm just going to be talking about sort of what their differences are, if none of you have tried any of these, and take it from there. And then we'll talk about some of the ones that I want to try. And obviously, when you're watching this video and you realise that I have not mentioned a particular one that you like, that you really enjoy, please mention it in the comments. Okay, so I've sprayed the Prada. I'm going to spray the Angelos Creation Carnation, if I can find the sprayer. And then I'll spray Filtre. Wow, that's... okay, so the first thing that I notice between the Prada and the other two is that the Prada is a lot softer. There is actually, what I like about Filtre and Luyet from Angelos Creations is that, to my mind, these are really realistic renditions of carnations. When I was young and growing up, for whatever reason, the main flowers that would be in vases inside the home of my grandparents' house, where I spent a lot of time, were carnations, and that probably just had something to do with the fact that they were probably more common, more available, and probably cheaper than things like roses and other types of flowers you could buy, like lilies. So Carnation was a real nostalgic smell for me in my childhood. And Filtre and Luyet from Angelos Creations really get close to that smell, that particular smell. I remember definitely it's a smell that sort of tends to get you tend to feel the spiciness more the closer you bring your nose to it. So the Prada, the Carnation is in the background here, and it's, even though you can smell it, it's a little bit more, it's actually more of a supporting role that it plays in conjunction with the other accords that are in this particular composition. Whereas Luyet, Filtre is definitely a touch spicier, and I think it definitely plays up more on the clove side. It's a bit sharper to my nose, whereas Luyet is definitely more floral as opposed to more spicy. But I it it's amazing how much these two project just off the blotter. They're about a couple of feet away from me now, and I can smell them clearly, and they're just warm. They almost make my cheeks blush a little bit when I smell them. And there's something so nostalgic about this smell to me. There is a smoky element to filter as well that I don't get from the Angelos perfume. So they're definitely two. If anyone really wants to get a sense of a Carnation perfume, they're definitely two I would recommend smelling. But they are slight different. If you're a bit worried about the spiciness of any Carnation perfume, any Carnation dominant perfume, probably I would lean towards the Angelos. But if you like that spice, that clove, definitely try Filter from Hiram Green. So those two from the perfumes I've smelled are definitely kind of like benchmarks for me in terms of a Carnation. Now, I have a list of a bunch of other Carnation perfumes. Some mostly I got from Neil Chapman's book here, and have been recommended to me by friends of mine also that are into Carnation perfumes. So the ones I'm going to mention, these ones I'm probably going to have a bit of trouble finding samples of. I think there's one from Oriza L Le Grand, which is called Royal Ouillet. That one I know nothing about, but was recommended to me. The other one that I really hope I can smell one day, although it has been discontinued from Santa Maria Novella. This is Garofano from Santa Maria Novella. From the looks of the note pyramid, it looks to have a lot of their kind of signature citruses with a big carnation note. And it's interesting because of all the Carnation perfumes, that combination of the citruses and carnation is something that I'm really interested to see what effect it has. There is also one that I've heard lots about. I know it's still available, but I just haven't had a chance to smell it. And also from the sounds of this particular one, it sounds like it's on the spicier side. This is Vitriol d'Ouillet from Serge Lutens. There is also one of the ones that was recommended in the book was L'air du Temps from Nina Ricci, which sounds like it is more of a floral chypre construction dominated by carnation in the heart. Also, one that is still readily available, very, very cheap. Not sure what the modern version smells like compared to older versions, but Old Spice from Shulton, I think, was when they were making it. That is still, even now, recommended to me as a good Carnation perfume. I'm just trying to see what else I've left out here. One that I have had and used to own, in fact, is from Guerlain. It's Louis. Then they changed the name of it and put it in the Latte Materiel line, and I can't remember what the name of it, I'll put it up on the screen, is. But I think they've already discontinued that one. Now, Louis had a beautiful, soft, floral carnation. It didn't have as much, didn't really, the spices, the clove was turned down a little bit, but it was paired with the most voluptuous benzoin note that gave it this kind of, it was almost like the soft, rounded version of Derby minus all the moss. So that was a really soft, suede benzoin with the lovely powdery carnation on top of that. I'm just trying to think if I've left any others out. Also, Lorenzo Villoresi make a Garofano, I think. I don't know if that one is still available as well. But if I've missed any that you think I should try, my aim is to try as many of these as possible. But if you think of any else that I should try, please let me know in the comments, because I'm here for it. I'm ready to smell as many as possible. Oh, also, L'Artisan Parfumé also had one called L'Ouillette Sauvage, which I'm not sure, and Filippo was the perfumer for that. I'm not sure if that is still available, so if anyone has tried that one. Oh, and I just remembered the one that I had never ever heard about, that I'm very interested in trying now. I thought that it would be discontinued, but apparently Floris London have now got this new sort of, I think it's called the Ledger line. I could be wrong. This one is called Malmaison. I think it's based on a very early perfume that they brought out in the late 1800s, I want to say, based on a particular carnation, I think the Malmaison. And apparently Oscar Wilde was a big fan of this perfume back then, and they've obviously modernized it and re-released it, and it is available. It seems like it's a bit more expensive than the rest of the Floris line, but I really want to try that one as well. That's all I have to say. I'm not... I'm out of ideas. Really, this video was for me to, just show you a brief impression of the differences between the Carnation perfumes that I do have, but also really it's more for you guys to help me and recommend stuff that I should smell as well. I'll list all the perfumes that I've mentioned in this video in the description, in case my pronunciation is completely made you confused. And I hope to hear back from you guys, and I'll see you soon for another video. Bye.